Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, everybody. If you remember, last time we started talking about the notion allomorphy versus the notion morphemes, and we had the idea that the notion allomorphy is a kind of, let's say, the uttered, spoken form of the morphemes. And we also presented the idea that allomorphy can be triggered by phonology, by idiosyncratic forms of the words, or by morphemes also. And then we had some exercises on let's say, distribution of morphemes in the language. Today, we are going to have more exercises, more data sets, more problem sets on the representation of morphemes, allomorphs, and how they can be represented in different languages. Let's first start with Swahili. And here we have a problem set on Swahili. And we know that Swahili is a language spoken in Africa. We have in front of us a language that we do not speak, of course, but we should have the morphological tools to analyze the data according to the paradigm given to us. Now, here we have in this language, we have Nilipata, I got, Walipata, they got, Yulipata, you got. Nili Kipata, you got it. Yuli Kipata, you got it. And the other verb, so the verb number one, which is got, right? The other verb is Yuli ni piga, you hit me, right? And Nili piga, I hit. Wali to piga, they hit us. Wali Kipiga, they hit us. Nili Wapiga, I hit them. And Yuli Piga, you hit. So here we have the other verb, which is hit. As we all know that when we have a data set like this, we should bear in mind first to classify this data according to the two verbs we have here. So we have nearly the verb got first. We need first, in order to analyze this data, we need to know how this language is ordered, how the configuration of this language works. In order to know this, we have to know the suffixes, prefixes, infixes that represent the different levels of morphology or inflectional morphology or derivational, depending upon the nature of the language itself. Let's first identify the Swahili or Swahili verb morphemes according to the data here. Okay, so here we have the data of Swahili. Our job is to know how the morphemes are represented, how they are ordered, and what functions they can maintain or have. So here, let's start with the verb got here. Sorry. The first thing is to know is to let's say figure out the non-varying or non-changing roots across the data. So here we notice that the verb that doesn't change here is according to the data here, the verb that doesn't change is pata, right? So here, if we look into the data, we find that pata doesn't change in the different forms. So here we have nili pata, I got, right? We have and so on and so forth. So we have pata, and we have nili pata, right? Here we have nili, right, which represents I, right? So we have nili. So here, which means I, right? Wali pata, which means wali pata, which means here they. Yuli pata, which represents the second person, which is you, Yuli pata, and we have here Nili hipata. We have Nili also, which represents the first person, singular I, and we have Yuli pata, which is you, kipata, you, and we notice that there is a kind of an morpheme, objective morpheme, a morphemes representing the object form, which is kipata here. So key here is a kind of infix, right? So according to this scenario, dear students, we have the configuration according to the data here. We find the verb, which is got, preceded by the objective pronoun, right? Preceded by the subjective pronoun, right? So this is the simple, actually, scenario for the representation of this data. We can also look at this data from another perspective where Li, right? Li represents the past tense, right? Represent the past tense, where we can have the following representation here. So this is scenario number 2 for this scenario number 2 for the analysis of this language. We have pata, as we know, which is the verb, right? And here, it is ni, right? It is ni, which is I. Wa, which is you. Sorry, wa, which is they. You, which is you, right? The and also we have you, which also you, right? The second person. So, and Li here in this data, Li, right? In this data here, we have Li. The infix Li can represent the past tense. So according to the scenario also, we can say that the configuration, according to the scenario, the configuration of this language can be represented by the verb, right? So here, the verb preceded by the objective pronoun, preceded by the tense marker, preceded by the subjective marker, okay? So actually we have two scenarios for the analysis of this data. Also here, if we look into the verb hit, which is the verb hit, right? Okay, which is piga, right? The verb hit, which is piga here. Okay, maybe you can find a similar representation and similar behavior of the morphemes. So here we have hit, piga, the same. We have the verb piga, right? And we have Yuli me piga, right? You hit me. So we have you, which means that stands for the second person you, and also we have ni, which is I, wa in waliti piga, which means they, which is they, right? And we have wa, also they here, wa liki piga, and also, yes, that's it. Now, For the representation of Li, as we said in the second scenario of analysis, Li, the infix Li here stands for the tense pattern, and the objective pronouns, as in you, Li, ni, which means me, ni, the infix ni, which is me, and also here they hit us wali two, right? Two, which is us, the plural, first person plural, and it wali ki, so ki, the infix ki, which is it, and also we have them, which is wa, also the infix wa, which is them, right? So here the same representation is available. So we can come up with the data here with the configuration that we have the verb, the same idea, preceded by here, according to the data here, they hit us, we have a piga, we have the objective pronoun, preceded by the tense marker, past tense marker, and the subjective pronoun. So this seems to be the final configuration in this language. Okay, so here we have the morphemes, and we have the questions on this data. So finally, we can say that this language is or contains the verb preceded by the objective pronoun, preceded by the past tense marker, and preceded by the subjective marker. Now we move to another language, which is Isleta. In this language, we have data. It's a Native American language spoken in New Mexico. Here, our job is to see how this language also is constructed, how it is, let's say, how it behaves, the behavior of the morphemes in this language. Okay. Now we have T, according to the verbs, we have go, we have the verb go and the verb come. Now let's do the verb go first. We have Tamiban, right? We have Amiban. We have Tamiwi, right? Mimiye. That's it. So we have the four forms. Our job is to know how this language is represented and how it works. If we look into the four items, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we find that the verb standing for the verb go can be represented as me here in the data, right? And we have different alternations in the language depending upon the inflectional system that this language has. So we begin with for example, I, right? I, which is te, the suffix, the prefix te, right? Te. And we have in B, we have you, which is a, the prefix a in you went. And here te for a for I. And we have te, also I here, and me, which is he, right? Which is the third person, the third person, okay? Third person singular, he. Okay. So we have no, here we have he, which is me. Sorry. Okay, so we have here you, which is a, sorry, which is a here, sorry, and he, which is me, right? Which is me. Also, we find ban, the suffix ban here, which represents the past tense, which is ban, as in Tami ban, Ami ban, went, and also, yes. Now, if we move to the verb come, we see more and more data, more and more alternations. So the verb come, in analogy with me, can be represented as when. Now we know that this language loves inflections to be on both edges, right? On after and before, on the right and on the left. So the verb is when, right? And as in here, when T, as we said, it is I, represents the first person I. So T also I, right? But here the new thing is, which is the T1 ban here and T1 he, right? Which is the future. It is the suffix which is the future marker. The same applies to the continuous or the present progressive, which is here we, right? The suffix we, and here as was going, we also find also past the progressive, which is a, right? So we find here, we notice that in this language, the order of this language, the order of morphemes in this language is that we have the verb first, right? And following the verb, we have here as in ban and a, he, right? We and ban, right? So after we have the tense aspect markers, whether it is ban for the past tense marker or he, a, and we after the verb. And before the verb here, we have the subjective pronouns. So this seems to have to be the final scenario for this language, which is the subjective pronouns in the prefix position and the tense aspects, let's say, pronouns or levels in the suffix position, Okay. Okay, now if we were asked to translate, actually, he went, so we should rely upon this configuration. So he went, right? So we have went, the verb go, right? The verb go here is the verb go is me, right? And we have the past tense went out of go. We have ban, right? Me ban. And we have the form that represents also he, which is me. So it is me ban, right? Me ban, which is the translation of this form. I will go. Now we go to the verb go, which is okay. Yes, go. Also, the verb go is we said it is me, right? So here it is me, and we have the future form that we found. The future form here is he, right? It is he. So me he with I, which is it, right? So here T, 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 and T here. It is I, so it becomes T, me, he. Okay, now we know how this language works, how Isleta works. So it is ti, me, he, I will go. Ti, me, he, I will go here. And me, ban, I, or he went. Now we have you were coming. So we go to the verb come, right? Which is when, right? And we have you, which is you here, right? Is the prefix one, and the future, the progressive, the past progressive, we said it is what? It is a, right? So it is one, a, which means you were coming, you were coming, okay? So this is how this language works, okay? Now, let's go to Farsi or Persian, a language that has the similar orthography to Arabic, and okay. In this language, we need to see how it works in terms of the notion allomorphy, morphemes, and the order of morphemes. We notice that kharidam, I bought, kharidi, you singular bought, kharid, he bought, na kharidam, he didn't, I didn't buy, and nami kharidan, they were not buying, na kharidim, we didn't buy, mi kharid, he was buying, and finally mi kharidid, you plural were buying. So here our job is to know the order of this language, how this language, the order of the morphemes in this language, and a kind of a linguistic analysis, right? The non-changing or the non-varying actually element in this data seems to be khar, right? Right, which means by, right? Which means by, and kharidam, right? Seems to have id, right? So here it is by, and we have id, the morpheme id, which reflects the past tense. So it is kharid, 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 kharid. All of them were in the past. So we assume that id represents the inflectional past tense morpheme. Okay. And we begin with this kharid am, which is I. So am here, the suffix am, which is I, right? Kharidi, right? E, which is you, singular, right? Kharid, here it seems that there is nothing, right? So we can represent the third person as phi. So phi, which is he. Na kharidam, right? We find na, right? Which is na before the verb, which means not. Because here we have khar and id and am, id, am, khar here. Na mi kharidam, na, which is na here. Khari, khari, right? Khar here by, id past tense, and we have and, which is they, right? And we have me, which is the infix me, which is what? Which is not, right? Which is not, okay? So na mi kharid, kharidan, which is sorry for the past, sorry. So here, me, which is the progressive, right? So na kharidim, the same, right? And we have im, which is we, the suffix im, which is we. Mi kharid, which is he, and we said that it is phi. Mi kharidi id, which is you, plural, which is you, a plural here. Mi kharid id, id, another id here. It is you plural, while id here past tense can be an infix or can be a suffix. It depends upon what the verb, the subject is, right? So if we look into this data here, we find that I, as we said, I here, as in I am, it is the suffix am. Again, you singular here, خاريد e, right? The suffix e, right? They, which is and, right? Here, suffix also and. You plural, which is خاريد id, right? Okay. We خاريد im. Not, we said that not is na, the prefix na, right? The prefix na, it occurs in the initial position. By, we say that it is khar, right? And it is always preceded and followed by morphemes. And we have the was where ing, which is the progressive, which is me, as in me kharidan. So it is me, okay? It is the infix me. So here we find that the configuration for this language is that we have the verb, according to this language, we have the verb followed by past tense, followed by the subjective pronoun, preceded by here, the data according to the data, me, which is the aspect or progressive aspect, progressive, and preceded by negation. Okay, so this seems to be the configuration for Persian or this language. So if we want to form some Persian verbs, maybe we should rely upon this configuration to know how it works, right? So if we say that they were buying, so the verb buy, which is khar, and past tense id, and they, we said that the subjective pronoun they is, I think, and, right? They, which is and, yes, and, right? So and, so kharid, kharid, and we have the progressive form, which is, I think, me, right? So it is me kharidan, which is they were buying. You singular did not buy. We also begin with khar and id to the past tense marker, right? And you singular is you singular, I think you singular, you plural, you singular e, right? It is e. So kharidi, and we have you singular, we're buying also, we have me. So me kharidi, you, sorry, is the it's negation, right? It's negative, which is na, which is the negation marker, right? Is na, I think, right? In na here, yes, is the negation marker, na kharidi. And finally, for you were buying, we have okay, so here you were buying. It has the same scenario. خاريد, the stem or the root, the verb, eat, the past tense. And we have you singular, which is e, right? And we have the progressive, which is me. So we have me, kharidi. So we notice, dear students, that here the configuration also of this language seems to be composed of the root, the verb, which is khari, khar, followed by the past tense marker, which is id, followed by the subjective pronouns like and, and so on and so forth, and preceded by the aspectual me, right? Which is for the representation of the progressive, and finally the prefix for the negation, which is the negation, which is na, which is na. So this is how this language works. Thank you for listening.